J. Christopher. I'm a social media influencer on Instagram. Welcome to the episode 3 of the show. And today we're going to get started with the wonderful, when I can pull it up, we're going to get started with the wonderful intro. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful day out here. Woo, 97 degrees. Oh my goodness. Beautiful weather. Here we go. We're going to get started with the wonderful intro, and here we go with the show. Let's get started. Welcome to the show. My name is Aaron J. Christopher. Should put my phone in do not disturb mode. So today we're going to be doing and talking about topics. I want to talk especially about business and news. First topic that we're going to talk about, let's get started with business. And I love business. One thing I do is, one thing that I aimed and tried to do when I was younger was start a business and get companies to partner up with me when I was younger. And one thing I love is business and how to go on with business. And one provider that I do trust a lot is LegalZoom. LegalZoom is a great place to get started with your business, to get an articles of organization, an EIN, a tax ID, and get registered in your state. So whether if it's New York, Los Angeles, or anything like that, you can definitely use LegalZoom. And here is a little trailer about LegalZoom and how they can help you.
It's start your business time. Real estate is booming. I should be booming. It's business time. So, free yourself from this by going freelance. Get your thing started. LegalZoom. Now you're in business.
Yes, and LegalZoom can definitely help you out with your business and getting you started with your business. No matter if you're selling baked goods or if you're just, creating your own product line. LegalZoom can help you out in that way. Another way that I like to do is I like to use Square Register. Square Register is a available way for you to take payments, credit, debit card, Apple Pay. And if you have business, you also want to use PayPal Business. You could also use that to you can say use credit cards, debit cards, credit cards, Apple Pay. You can also set up invoices, which you can also do with Square as well. And you can just do a lot of that right at your fingertips using either PayPal Business, and with PayPal Business again you can do invoices, you can take credit, debit cards, Apple Pay, Android Pay, Samsung Pay right through PayPal, and on top of that you can have people send you funds right through PayPal. Amazing. I love that. That's really amazing. I love business skills, and I love business strategies. And one thing is I always want to do things when it comes to business, and I love business so much. Today, speaking about business, I went for an interview at AT&T, and while I'm waiting for things to happen, I'm doing AT&T. Another thing is you have to be humble in your lifetime, and one thing that I noticed is June 5th is when my bill is due with T-Mobile. And since I don't have funds with me right now, and police did tell me don't sell your phone, I need to help my mom, and I also owe money to a loyal friend. Shout out to you, Hunter, and I need to find a way to pay him back. So I might have to end up selling my phone. And you know what? We got to start with the basics. That means I will have cash for myself. I'll also have cash for my mom because, sometimes the struggle is real, And I will also have funds for Hunter and start to pay Hunter as well. And Hunter is amazing for me. He's always there for me. He's always been a great, helpful person in my lifetime, and including other people that I've met in my life as well. All right, so now we're gonna go into something from the Entertainment Canada News. Before, like I was also gonna say, I always love police and I always trust police and everything that they say. But while I find a job and stuff like that, you have to do what's for you. And yes, I have a nice phone. Yes, it's beautiful, and I can do a lot of things with it. And the pictures are phenomenal with the A15 bionic chip and how beautiful and remarkable the device is. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do until those opportunities come for you. And you got to start small before you can go big, right? Whoop whoop. Yes. All right. And now we're gonna go to ET Canada News and about Johnny Depp. And here we go.
Elon Musk, who made a rare comment about both Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Yeah, following the conclusion of arguments in the former couple's defamation trial, Elon weighed in on the situation on Twitter, writing this in response to a tweet from MIT research scientist Lex Friedman, who had shared some takeaways from the trial. I hope they both move on at their best. They are each incredible.
Now, Amber and Elon dated for several months after her split from Johnny in 2016, and his name was one of many celebrity names that came up during the trial, specifically when Amber was asked about her promising and failing to donate her entire $7 million divorce settlement from Johnny to the ACLU.
Most of the money that was donated to the ACLU and CHLA in your name came from someone else. Isn't that right?
I don't know what you mean by most of.
Well, at least $500,000 that was donated to the ACLU in your name wasn't paid by you, right?
I believe Elon made a donation in my honor on one of the years.
Yeah, and it didn't come out of your $7 million divorce settlement, right?
No, nor did it count towards my pledge.
And at least $500,000 that was donated to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles in your name wasn't paid by you either.
Right, those were made at the same time.
And it didn't come out of your $7 million divorce settlement.
Nor did it count to my 3.5 obligation.
Those $500,000 payments came from your new boyfriend, Elon Musk, right?
I don't know if he was a new boyfriend at the time.
You got him to pay part of what you promised to these two charities, didn't you?
Incorrect.
Because you wanted to keep at least some of the $7 million divorce settlement for yourself, right?
You're very wrong about that. Oh! Carlos, can I tell you, I am obsessed with this trial. Like, I was at the dentist and I was watching it. I'm like, can you leave on my phone while you're cleaning my teeth? One of the things that I did not expect was Elon to speak up, but he did, and it was in a tweet. But I'm surprised they didn't actually bring him in the trial, because their relationship when they were together in 2016, it sounded like it was a really great relationship. Like, they really liked each other, and it made her character, Amber, look really great. So I'm surprised that he wasn't part of it. But I mean, I like the way he tweeted out for both of them, that he expects the best for both of them.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm surprised that he tweeted out at all, given, all the conversation around it. It's almost like people were expecting him to say something, and he had to say anything. And if he was going to say anything about it, I think that sort of being neutral was the way to go. I mean, the guy's doing a lot right now. He's doing a lot right now.
Yeah,
so
he's causing a
have
lot
to dive into this whole thing as well.
But you would think, because of that conversation, I love the fact that we have that clip, because the fact that they talked about Elon giving the money and not herself, I really thought he was going to be part of this trial. So I thought there was something where he wasn't going to have any conversation around it. So I was surprised over the weekend that he said something. Now, I'm wondering if there's conspiracy theory, but I'm thinking, did Amber in any way connect with him to say something? Like, there was this one fan, there was a video of an Amber Heard fan that was there during the trial, and they took that video. This is a side note, but she loved Amber. She gives her flowers or something, or she says something, and they put a sound of this rather than the booing sound around, and they changed it. So I feel like she's trying to create a better persona of herself. So I'm wondering if she contacted Elon to make that tweet happen. I'm just saying. Just putting it out there.
Elon Musk, who made a rare comment about both Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Yeah, following the conclusion of arguments in the former couple's defamation trial, Elon weighed in on the situation on Twitter, writing this in response to a tweet from MIT research scientist Lex Friedman, who had shared some takeaways from the trial. I hope they both move on at their best. They are each incredible.
Wow. All right. So, whew, it's incredible. Whew. All right. So now we're going to go into some more takeaways here, and we're going to go into some information within the Johnny Depp case. But before, let's get into some other news here. I'm going to go into the situation where, here we go. Swimmer Lia Thomas breaks silence about backlash, future plans from GMA. Let's go to a video from YouTube, and let's go to a video from YouTube of this information. It's 7 minutes and 6 seconds. Here we go. Here's George.
Lia Thomas, the elite college athlete who became the first openly transgender woman to win an NCAA swimming title. She's speaking out at her first TV interview with Nightline's Juju Chang. Good morning, Juju.
Good morning to you, George. You know, Lia Thomas says there are two major aspects of her identity: being an elite swimmer and being trans. And yet it's her success as a trans athlete that's landed her smack in the center of a heated culture war over trans rights. And she's breaking her silence for the first time on camera as people try to balance the core values of inclusion versus fairness. She's the swimmer who created shockwaves across the country. 23-year-old Lia Thomas.
Lia Thomas pulling away.
The UPenn swimmer making history in March as the first known transgender athlete to win a Division I national title. But her athletic achievements on the women's swim team igniting fierce debate over fairness in women's sports.
It is just not fair.
When it comes to competition, it's just not a fair fight.
Throughout the controversy, Thomas has largely remained quiet until now.
I knew there would be scrutiny against me if I competed as a woman. I was prepared for that, but I also don't need anybody's permission to be myself and to do the sport that I love.
Assigned male at birth, Thomas grew up in Austin, Texas, where she says she fell in love with swimming when she was just 4. But as she grew, she says she felt increasingly disconnected to her body.
I didn't feel like I was a boy. I was like, this isn't me. This isn't who I am.
Thomas earned a spot at her Ivy League dream school, UPenn, on the men's team. But by her sophomore year, she says her gender dysphoria left her depressed and suicidal.
I was barely going to classes. I could really barely get out of bed, and I said I can't live like this anymore. I want to be able to do things I enjoy,
even if it might cost me my swimming career.
Yeah, and that's part of what kept me from transitioning for so long, is I wasn't sure if I could continue swimming and doing the sport that I love.
Thomas began HRT, hormone replacement therapy, in May of her sophomore year, 2019.
The mental and emotional changes actually happened very quickly. I was feeling a lot better mentally. I was less depressed, and I lost muscle mass. I became a lot weaker and a lot slower in the water.
After following NCAA guidelines of a year of hormone therapy to change gender categories, Thomas started her senior year on the women's team. But her success in the water was met with outrage leading up to the NCAA championships. Her critics say she jumped in the rankings between the men's and the women's team. And there are some who look at the data and suggest that you're enjoying a competitive advantage. What do you say to that?
There's a lot of factors that go into a race and how well you do. And the biggest change for me is that I'm happy. And sophomore year, where I had my best times competing with the men, I was miserable. And so having that be lifted is incredibly relieving and allows me to put my all into training, into racing. Trans people don't transition for athletics. We transition to be happy and authentic and our true selves. Transitioning to get an advantage is not something that ever factors into our decisions.
You didn't transition to win more medals?
No.
Thomas quickly became a lightning rod. 16 of her own teammates and some of their parents wrote anonymous letters arguing Thomas posed a threat to women's sports. The women who signed the letter anonymously said that they absolutely supported your right to transition, but they simply think it's unfair for you to compete against cisgender women.
You can't go halfway and be like, I support trans women and trans people, but only to a certain point, where if you support trans women as women and they've met all the NCAA requirements, then I don't know if you can really say something like that. Trans women are not a threat to women's sports.
While the science on transgender athletes is new and evolving, some medical experts say the effects of higher testosterone during male puberty may never be fully erased. What are the physical aspects that trans women may not be able to roll back with hormone therapy?
Obviously, issues related to body size, airway size, hand size, foot size, perhaps bone density, and so forth. But I think the main thing is just the interactions of exercise training and skeletal muscle.
Are you saying that years of hormone therapy cannot put trans women in place to compete with cisgender women?
I think the evidence so far would suggest that periods of a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years is probably insufficient.
There is this concept of the legacy effects of testosterone, and that can't ever be zero. Should that eliminate or disqualify transgender women?
I'm not a medical expert, but there's a lot of variation among cis female athletes. There's cis women who are very tall and very muscular and have more testosterone than another cis women, and should that then also disqualify them?
In January, the NCAA updated its transgender athlete eligibility guidelines, saying each sport's governing body could make their own rules. Later clarifying it wouldn't impose the new rules mid-season, clearing the way for Thomas to compete at the NCAAs.
It was an incredible experience to be able to fulfill that personal goal and be at that meet, as well as competing as my authentic self, was just such an amazing experience to have these things that I've been working towards for so long all come together.
Are there Olympics in your future?
It's been a goal of mine to swim at Olympic trials for a very long time, and I would love to see that through.
Now her college swimming career is over. Leah just graduated from UPenn and is getting ready for law school, perhaps a future career as a civil rights lawyer advocating for trans rights, George.
And Judy, did Leah ever think about quitting swimming?
Absolutely. She said that she was so depressed when she transitioned, she thought she gave it up even if it would cost her her swimming career. And of course, critics have said, if you just stop swimming, no one would have a problem. And her response to that is, people are going to have a problem with me no matter what I do, so I don't want to be forced to give up my identity as a swimmer.
George. You can see more of Judy's interview today on ESPN, tonight on Nightline. Leah Thomas, the elite college athlete who became the first...
Awesome. Yes. Don't give up your dreams. No matter what anybody tries to do to you, don't give up. Oh my goodness, I needed to hear that. Yes. Woo! I needed to hear that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so, all right, now we're gonna go into the next thing here, and we're gonna make this episode an hour episode. So 5:35. We started at 4:35 p.m. to 5:35. Since this is a special event episode 3, it'll be talking about news and politics, and now we're gonna and also hot topics. Now we're gonna go into somewhere live in Times Square, New York, where they were live last week, about 8 days ago. Hunter Girl, and check out the winners from American Idol. Good Morning America Live. Good Morning America Live in Times Square, New York. This was 8 days ago. Let's take a look at some footage. Let's take a look at some footage.
American Idol 2022 is Noah Thompson. Welcome back to GMA. What a finale last night on American Idol. Noah Thompson took home the top prize with Hunter Girl as the runner-up. We're going to talk to them both live in just a minute, but first, let's take a look back at the season. From Ultimate Idol reunions
Drop the mic.
to mentors who know a thing or two about taking home the title,
Now's the time to bring it.
to memorable moments moments only the judges can bring. But like every season, in the end, it's all about the talent.
Don't show your face value anymore.
And this year, from the nationwide auditions,
That is my favorite female country voice I've heard in 5 years.
to powerhouse performances from the top 20 on the Hollywood stage. The contestants brought it every week. But by finale night, it came down to 3.
Everybody wanna take her heart away. Couple billion in the whole wide world.
Via Marlene, Noah Thompson,
If only you ain't come back to me. Come back to me.
and Hunter Girl. And after a live finale of star-studded performances and special duets, only one could take the title. Noah Thompson! 20-year-old Noah Thompson from Kentucky becoming your 20th American Idol. So fun to see. Here we are, Noah Thompson and Hunter Girl are joining us now. Welcome to GMA. Look at the smiles on your faces. Congratulations. I'm glad to see you both. And Noah, I want to start with you. Your catchphrase is, "That's tough."
Yeah.
But it must not have been that tough to hear your name called as the new American Idol yesterday. What went through your mind when you heard your name called?
I don't know, man. I was just kind of just shocked, you know? Like, truthfully, I came to this competition not thinking I would even get a golden ticket, so to hear my name at the end, that was amazing.
That would be more than a golden ticket now.
Yeah.
So how are you going to celebrate? Are you going to tell your son that Dad's an idol?
Yeah. I guess so. I'm really looking forward to kind of just going home and seeing my family for a minute and, you know, just kind of taking this all in. So, yeah.
So, Hunter, what's the balance of stress versus fun? Like,
Well, it's nerve-wracking, like, right before I get up on stage, but whenever I get in that zone, I'm just like, I just want to have a good time, so it's back and forth, it just depends. But, yeah, this has been a nerve-wracking experience, I gotta say, but I've had a blast getting to be here, so.
how about backstage? Are you starstruck by anything?
Oh, my gosh, all the time. Whenever I got to meet, whenever I met Carrie Underwood in Vegas, I was just like, my eyeballs, I was like, oh my God, it's her. And then the first time, like, we met the judges and everything, I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, they're so pretty. They look exactly like they do on TV. It's just wild.
I'm sure Luke really appreciated it. But you know what? Your friend Arthur, he's the one who entered you into the competition. What do you have to say to him now?
We'll go home and give him a big old hug. Thank him for all this, because Arthur's the one that believed in me throughout this whole process when I couldn't believe in myself, you know, so I just thank him for that.
I'm sure the good friends.
Yeah,
And have
really
Hunter
good
Girl.
friends.
I know that you had so many experiences. You sang with Carrie Underwood. Just so many opportunities to perform. What was the highlight for you?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's been a year of my life, you know, and getting to have these experiences, like getting to sing with Carrie Underwood was something like I never dreamed I'd get to do that. I wanted to sing since I was a little girl, and I looked up to her a lot. So getting to do that with her, and then just getting to be in the finale, I never thought I'd get to be there. So I think this year has probably been the craziest and best year of my life, and I'm just happy that I got to experience it.
You know, there are going to be some people that are going to say the same about you, how you were about Carrie. They're going to say, I got to say,
Oh my gosh.
But you know, there's no place like home. And you both, your hometowns, oh my gosh, Noah, that huge crowd that came out for you in your hometown, and Hunter Girl, the mural that they made for you. So what's the first thing y'all want to do when you get back home?
Just really just take it all in, man. Like I said, I want to see my family and just kind of let this settle in. You know what I mean?
What do you think it's going to be like, though, when you go back home? Because
it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be wild. I'm gonna
try to just stick to, staying in the house for a little bit. Just, good luck. Yeah. Try my best. How's that going for you, honey?
I'm just so excited to see my family and kind of like get to process all this. It's been wild and I just get to see everybody that supported me too, like in my hometown, and get to love on them and thank them because I wouldn't be talking to you guys this morning if it weren't for people that were believing in me and everything. So I'm just excited to get to see everybody again.
Well, you guys earned it.
Yes, you really did.
And you know what they say, the next thing is, when are you going to put out some music?
I know. Well, we actually have singles out right now. Mine's called Redbird, and I played that one last night.
One day tonight.
Yeah.
That's the one we were singing on the show last night. That's the one I sang.
Yeah.
We don't have to wait.
But there's more coming.
Yeah, thank y'all. You all are lovely. Okay, you're just so pretty. But thank you. It has been a joy watching you.
Yes.
You're just so pretty. But thank you. It has been a joy watching you.
Yes.
Yes.
American Idol 2022 is...
All right, that was awesome. That was awesome. Whew, that was awesome. Congratulations, Noah and Hunter. You guys are amazing. And keep up the good work. And definitely, I'm going to check out that album, Redbird. Definitely get some insight on that one. Yes, get some insight on it. Woo! Get some insight on it. All right, and now we're going to go into the next topic here. And the next topic is mostly about some information regarding, some information regarding Johnny Depp. But before we go into Johnny Depp, while I was in Bryant Park, I saw this wonderful singer and guitarist. He was in Bryant Park today, and he is amazing. He has a guitar that reminds me of Coco, and remember me. All right, let's take a look at him singing and playing on the guitar. Here we go.
What's your name? Kenny? Nice to meet you.
And that's Kenny. It was nice to meet you, Kenny. You are amazing, and keep playing the guitar. Alrighty, and now we're gonna go into some information regarding the Johnny Depp case. But before we go into the Johnny Depp case, let's take a look at this. Russia intensifies assault on Ukraine's Donbas region, and we're gonna go into Good Morning America again with after this ABC News with some more information.
Ukrainian students in the U.S. are watching a war in their homeland thousands of miles away, and they're struggling with uncertainty. Many are suffering homesickness, facing economic hardships. ABC News' Alexis Christophorous spoke with one Ukrainian student who's finding support from an unlikely source.
Sophia Zerzak remembers exactly where she was on UC Berkeley's campus when she learned that Russia was invading her hometown of Kyiv.
I remember being in the dining hall and reading the news and exactly those news about the actual invasion starting. And life just stopped for me for a moment. because I realized how unpredictable and how dangerous the situation is.
Sophia's father, Ruslan, remains in Kyiv, while her mother, Natalia, has fled to Poland to stay with a family that's taking in Ukrainian refugees. Natalia FaceTimes with her daughter nearly every day.
When I phoned home and phoned Sophia, I was happy that the connection, it works and it is possible to see, to hear all my family.
For 19-year-old Sophia, watching the war from afar seems surreal.
The road that I used every single day is now filled with remainders of tanks and burned cars. I think that these are history, like pictures from the history textbooks. I do not really recognize the city anymore.
Just 6 months into her freshman year, the war has upended life for Sophia and the roughly 1,700 other Ukrainian college students studying in the U.S.
For data science?
Unable to return home for the summer, Sophia and many like her were left scrambling to find a way to stay in the U.S. The U.S. federal government has temporarily extended visas for Ukrainian students, while schools, including the University of Chicago and Columbia University, are offering scholarships for displaced students. Now, corporate America is answering the call. The San Francisco-based tech company AI is one of over a dozen companies offering Ukrainian college students paid summer internships. Sophia will join them this summer as a software coder. What inspired you and your company to look specifically for Ukrainian students in the U.S. to be interns this summer?
So it actually was an employee-led initiative. Our company is all about safety, and we started to think about the children. And that's how we got there, was the children inside of Ukraine, and then we looked at children who were outside of Ukraine who couldn't get home.
3 of AI's 10 summer interns are from Ukraine, and the company crowdsourced to find them temporary summer housing. For Sophia, the opportunity is a lifeline.
It is definitely very important in terms of general expenses over summer, but it is even more important for me in terms of tuition for next semester because international tuition in Berkeley is very expensive.
Natalia is grateful Sophia is safely out of the country.
I'm very happy and I'm very thankful to all people who is connected with this internship and to all volunteers around the world who help Ukrainian now.
What's the thing you miss the most when you think about home?
I miss my dogs.
When you do finally get back to Ukraine, what is the first thing you want to do or the first thing you want to see?
I would just love to have a nice, quiet evening walk in the center of the city and go to a nice restaurant somewhere that is peaceful.
And Sophia plans to major in computer science at UC Berkeley and says she hopes to return to Ukraine after she graduates to help her homeland rebuild.
What thing you miss the most when you think about home?
I miss my dogs.
When you do finally get back to Ukraine, what is the first thing you want to do or the first thing you want to see?
I would just love to have a nice, quiet evening walk in the center of the city and go to a nice restaurant somewhere that is peaceful.
And Sophia plans to major in computer science at UC Berkeley and says she hopes to return to Ukraine after she graduates to help her homeland rebuild. Ukrainian students in the U.S. are watching a war in their homeland.
Alrighty, studying computer science. Now, I love computer science. You know, they have that. They have computer science at it's a place in Albany. Please tell me I can remember the school. Well, I know they have that probably at UAlbany, and I know they also have that at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. There we go. And congratulations for the people that are graduating this year at RPI, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. All right, now we are going to take a quick break because I think I might want to do some art, and before we do some art, well, you know what? Well, I'm gonna do some art because I already watched the video already. We're gonna do some Johnny Depp, and let's see while you guys are watching about Johnny Depp, I'm gonna do some art because I watched the video already, and it is a very interesting video. So let's take a look at Johnny Depp and Amber. Here we go.
On May 27, 2016, Ms. Heard walked into a courthouse in Los Angeles, California, to get a no-notice ex-parte restraining order against Mr. Depp, and in doing so, ruined his life by falsely telling the world that she was a survivor of domestic abuse at the hands of Mr. Depp. Today, on May 27, 2022, exactly 6 years later, we ask you to give Mr. Depp his life back by telling the world that Mr. Depp is not the abuser Ms. Heard said he is, and hold Ms. Heard accountable for her lies. Now it's time for you, the jury, to come to a decision. You have been entrusted with a serious task. What is at stake in this trial is a man's good name. Even more than that, what is at stake at this trial is a man's life. The life that he lost when he was accused of a heinous crime, and the life he could live when he was finally vindicated. Exactly 6 years ago today, on May 27, 2016, Ms. Heard walked into court and filed a false report of domestic abuse against her husband of 15 months, Johnny Depp. The scene was a setup. She tipped off the paparazzi so they would be waiting. They knew exactly where she would pause, which side of her face to photograph. And the photos captured what she wanted them to see, the image of a battered woman. What the paparazzi did not know is that the dark mark on her face mysteriously appeared 6 days after last seeing Mr. Depp. It was a lie. She knew it, Mr. Depp knew it, and the multiple witnesses you heard from who saw her that week of May 21st, 2016, also knew it. But the world only saw what she wanted them to see. 2 years later, when promoting the biggest role of her career, until this trial, Ms. Heard presented herself to the world as a public figure representing domestic abuse. The headline of the op-ed featured the term sexual violence, even though she had never before accused her ex-husband of such a heinous crime. Ms. Heard and her lawyers love to remind you of how the op-ed did not mention Mr. Depp by name. But Ms. Heard made sure that there would be no mistake about who she was referring to. She inserted 2 years ago, so the world would remember the photo of a battered woman, the mark on her face, standing outside the courthouse, and they would once again see Mr. Depp as the villain, this time in full swing of the Me Too movement. But what was happening behind closed doors was quite different from what Ms. Heard presented to the world. The exact opposite, in fact. There is an abuser in this courtroom, but it is not Mr. Depp. And there is a victim of domestic abuse in this courtroom, but it is not Ms. Heard. The evidence presented at this trial has shown that Ms. Heard is in fact the abuser, and Mr. Depp the abused. As you heard from Mr. Depp and multiple other witnesses that testified under oath at this trial, Mr. Depp experienced persistent verbal, physical, and emotional abuse by Ms. Heard during their relationship. You heard from Mr. Depp about how often Ms. Heard would berate him, insult him, physically attack him, including one of the most serious occasions when Ms. Heard threw a vodka bottle at Mr. Depp, severely injuring his finger, and then put a cigarette out on his face. We heard from Mr. Depp that this whole incident in Australia started because Ms. Heard was enraged that Mr. Depp wanted a post-nuptial agreement, and she wasn't in his will, just a month after getting married. You also heard from Tara Roberts, a manager at Mr. Depp's island, who witnessed Ms. Heard telling Mr. Depp that he was washed up and would die fat and lonely. You also heard from Ms. Roberts that she witnessed Ms. Heard clawing and grabbing at Mr. Depp, grabbing his hair, trying to pull him back to her, and Mr. Depp had a visible injury to his nose on that occasion. Most importantly, heard from Ms. Heard yourselves on multiple audio recordings admitting to being physically violent with Mr. Depp. What you didn't hear on a single recording you heard in this case, and there were many played by both parties, is Mr. Depp ever admitting to hitting, punching, or kicking Ms. Heard. You didn't hear it. It doesn't exist. It didn't happen. And despite the fact that Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard are heard discussing many of the alleged incidents you've heard about at this trial, like Australia and the Bahamas, you never heard Ms. Heard accuse Mr. Depp of sexual assault. Unlike Mr. Depp, who you heard admit to and own up to his past mistakes and his struggles, particularly with drugs and alcohol, Ms. Heard will not admit that she has ever done anything wrong. She cannot deny what you heard on those recordings. As much as Ms. Heard and her lawyers have tried to make this case about Mr. Depp's marriage, it is Ms. Heard that repeatedly admits to violence. When you catch Ms. Heard in a lie, she tries to cover it up with more lies. So let's talk about the giant lie at the heart of this case. Ms. Heard's claim that Mr. Depp is an abusive monster and that she is a public figure representing domestic abuse. She spun a story of shocking, overwhelming, brutal abuse. She came into this courtroom prepared to give the performance of her life, and she gave it. Ms. Heard's acting coach, Christina Sexton, testified that Ms. Heard has difficulty crying when she is acting. You saw it. Ms. Heard sobbing without tears, while spinning elaborate, exaggerated, fantastical accounts of abuse and everything going on in her mind almost a decade prior while enduring that abuse. It was a performance. What we have is a mountain of unproven allegations that are wild, over the top, and implausible. And you can't pick and choose which of these wild allegations to believe and which ones to disregard. You either believe all of it or none of it. Either Mr. Depp sexually assaulted Ms. Heard with a bottle in Australia, or Ms. Heard got up on that stand in front of all of you and made up that horrific tale of abuse. Either she's a victim of truly horrific abuse, or she's a woman who is willing to say absolutely anything. But this case doesn't come down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp. This case comes down to whether you believe Ms. Heard or you believe Mr. Depp, Christy Dombrowski, Sean Bett, Malcolm Connolly, Travis McGivern, Starling Jenkins, Keenan Wyatt, Dr. Kipper, nurses Debbie Lloyd and Erin Pilati, Tara Roberts, Ben King, Kate James, Kate Moss, Dr. Colbert, Morgan Knight, Morgan Tremaine, Officers Melissa Sines, Officers Tyler Haddon, Officer William Gatlin, and Beverly Leonard. What Ms. Heard testified to in this courtroom is the story of far too many women. But the overwhelming evidence, weight of that evidence, shows that it's not her story. It's not Ms. Heard's story. It was an act of profound cruelty, not just to Mr. Depp, but to true survivors of domestic abuse. For Ms. Heard to hold herself out as a public figure representing domestic abuse. It was false, it was defamatory, and it caused irreparable harm. And to talk more about that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague and my friend, Mr. Chu.
As Ms. Vasquez said, you have now come to know the real Amber Heard. It's scary. We also told you at the start of this trial that you were going to come to know the real Johnny Depp, not the many characters you've seen him play so wonderfully in the movies, but the man himself. We kept that promise. You've met the real Johnny Depp. Before Amber Heard, ladies and gentlemen, no woman ever before Amber Heard ever claimed that Mr. Depp raised a hand to her in his 58 years. And no other woman since Ms. Heard made that false claim back on May 27th, 2016, and repeated it in her December 2018 op-ed. Has any woman come forward since? This is Me Too without any Me Too. To the contrary, ladies and gentlemen, you heard Kate Moss 2 days ago testify. This is a woman who has never testified in any proceeding, ever. A very private person. Testified that Mr. Depp never abused her, and that Ms. Heard lied, and she lied to him twice, beyond the personal and emotional effects of Ms. Heard's lies, their impact on Mr. Depp and his family. The damage she inflicted on his reputation and career is undeniable. There's an old saying that a good reputation takes a lifetime to build, but only a second to destroy. Mr. Depp spent, in fact, a lifetime building his reputation as one of the greatest actors and movie stars of his generation, an iconic figure respected and liked throughout Hollywood, and recognized and admired throughout the world. But as you've heard in this case, Amber Heard is not a true victim. And Mr. Depp certainly is not an abuser. Again, nobody has come out of the woodwork to say Me Too. This is the unique and singular Me Too case where there's not a single Me Too. While Mr. Depp's name will be forever tarnished by these horrendous and false allegations, this case is about telling you the story and the truth about what really happened, which you now heard. It's about restoring his lost reputation. It's about showing Mr. Depp's children, Lily Rose and Jack, the truth is worth fighting for. It is. And it's about restoring Mr. Depp's name and standing in the community to the fullest extent you can. And you can do so. And only you, ladies and gentlemen, can do that for us. You heard from Mr. Depp yesterday that he has been carrying these outlandish, outrageous stories on his back, pretty stoically, and living them with them for 6 years, and waiting to be able to bring his truth out. And he has told you the truth, the unvarnished truth, even truth that pretty embarrassing. He knew that was going to happen when he bought this case. You've seen the evidence in this case over 6 long weeks, which we again thank you for. That evidence shows overwhelmingly that Ms. Heard's attempt to paint herself as a heroic survivor, an innocent survivor, and Mr. Depp as a terrifying abuser are utterly false. We ask you to please return your verdict for Mr. Depp. We ask you, we implore you to give him his name, his reputation, and his career. Thank you very much, ladies.
2016, Ms. Heard walked into a courthouse in Los Angeles, California to get a no-notice ex-parte restraining order against Mr. Depp, and in doing so, ruined his life by falsely telling the world that she was a survivor of domestic abuse at the hands of Mr. Depp. Today, on May 27th, 2022, exactly 6 years later, we ask you to give Mr. Depp his life back by telling the world that Mr. Depp is not the abuser Ms. Heard said he is, and hold Ms. Heard accountable for her lies. Now it's time for you, the jury, to come to a decision. You have been
Alrighty, and you can get more information on Entertainment News. That is a 12-minute video, so you can find out more information right on Entertainment News. While you guys were watching that, and while I was like in a wonderful creative zone. I love creativity. I'm going to be giving these cards out to 2 people in New York City today. And this is the very first one that I made, and it says, "Love is in the air in Times Square." Okay, love is in the air in Times Square. When you open it, you see like it looks like a little diamond type thing. Love diamond. And then it says, "Let's be real, let's love each other. Real, let's be real, let's stay real." Real, real, real. Let's be real. Real love. True love. Let's be real. Love it. And blue is truer than true. And let's be true. Blue is for true. Yes. Then this one is another one that I did. And it says, cute. You are cute. You are beautiful. Beautiful and true. Beautiful you. You know? And then the next one says, it says, love you. And in this song, when I was in, it says, like, it came to me in my head, and I was like, it says, I love you still, and you know I always will till the end of time. I will never change my mind. And then it says here, give this to someone you love. So anyone that you love, give this to. So I'm gonna be in Times Square today, and I'm gonna give this out to one of you guys, or maybe like when I'm walking down Bryant Park or something like that. I'm just like, take this. It's for you and to give to your true love that you really love. Give it to the person that you love in your life. True love. Give it to the person that you love. All right. We gotta give and help each other out in our everyday lives. Give, give, give. Whew, it's always good to be on time, to be safe, and it's. Today it is 90-something degrees out, very hot to be wearing a suit, but I had an interview today. That's why I was wearing a suit. Like, I always, like, every time I have an interview, I always like to look my best, no matter where the interview is, and that's always some good thing to have. That is business ethic. And in business ethic, you always want to have a smile on your face, and you always want to be presentable, and I love and that's one thing about me is that's why I wear suits, is because like when I'm like in an interview, and I always like to look my best. It's look your best to impress, right? You always want to look your best when it comes to business, and I love business. Like whether if I'm a news reporter one day, I love wearing a suit. Like Lee is always wearing, like he's always has that AccuWeather attire. It's always wonderful. We have Mr. Bill. We have Sade. That she's always looking nice with her dresses. She's beautiful. That white dress, beautiful. And I no matter what I do, work comes in my life, I know I have a lot of wonderful things ahead of me. And including because yes, I do a lot of singing and dancing and everything. Like I have a lot of things that I want to achieve in my life. And as long as I keep pushing forward and keep doing the things, keep applying myself, keep applying for the jobs that I want to do and everything else, then I'll do it. And that is what the mindset you have to have. Keep pushing yourself forward and your dreams will come true. Woo! All right. Now, before we end the show, because it's from 4:35 to 5:35, I was in Times Square the other, it was about weeks ago. But one thing that I want to bring back, and we're going to do a little deja vu here. We're going to do a little deja vu, and this is when it all kind of started. I remember this band, and this band, I was wearing a nice red suit. I love the red. Ooh, it looks so beautiful. I remember when some people came up to me, they said, "Are you wearing Gucci?" And when the lady said, "Are you wearing Gucci?" At first I was all up in my head back then. So, but now it reminds me, you know, when you're at the Grammys and you're like, and somebody says, "Are you wearing Gucci? What are you wearing?" So it's like that. I love it. Okay, it's like that. It's beautiful. Like, are you wearing Gucci? And you know, that would be so nice. Like I could envision myself in that. All right. Here we go. And now, speaking about that red suit, I want to go back to this video a while back, and it was me singing Blackbird, and I was acting like, but yeah, it's me singing Blackbird, and it sounds beautiful. So take a look at that before we end the show.
1, 2, Blackbird. You want to sing Blackbird? Yep. Ready? And yep. 1, 2, 1, 2. Blackbirds singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you're only waiting for this moment to rise.
right. Yeah, that's beautiful. Woo. Like sometimes you're good and like you're speechless, like you're so happy. But anyway, it is a beautiful day, so go ahead and enjoy your day. And before we end the show, I'm going to take a look at some wonderful comments. We got 2 minutes left for the show. So let's look at some comments that, hi, how are you? Let's see here. We got a lot here, so we're going to scroll down. We at Times Square. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit of different places in Times Square today. I'm gonna go maybe do one dance video, a couple dance videos, one dance video, one singing video, one singing video. Drink a lot of water. Like drinking water. Enjoy the fresh air. Enjoy the weather, and then be on my way. Hey, we got 1 minute left, so let's try to get as many comments as we can. Hi, two more comments. Hi. I'm doing a lot here. Bear with me. 1 second. So many. Let's go down. Let's go all the way down. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day. Stay good. My name is Aaron J. Christopher. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show, and we will see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Stay good. Stay happy. Be yourself. Don't let anybody change you. Don't be anybody else but yourself. Have a good day. Bye-bye.